Hello, my beautiful bookworms. And today I am getting you chapters 4 and 5 of Deep Blue. Now, as you remember in the first two chapters, the prologue and chapter 1, we get Seraphina and how she has her nightmare. And chapter 1, she's waking up and her mom's talking to her about politics. Chapter 2 is about her meeting, about her nervousness over the Dokimi, and chapter 3 ends with Lucia being a major jerk, and her vision, or her seeing Raphmafeme, aka Orfeo. And now we are now to the part to where Talassa, the Katumagus, appears in Seraphina's room. And what happens there, we will wait and see. So, chapter 4 starts on page 40, and here we go. Talassa, the Cantomagus, was not amused. She fluttered in the doorway of the antechamber, arms crossed over her considerable bosom, tentacles twining beneath her. Her hair, the gray of a hurricane sky, was styled in an elegant twist. A cluster of red anemones bloomed like roses at the nape of her neck. She wore a gown of crimson and a long cape of black mussel shells. At a snap of her fingers, two cuttlefish removed it. The entire chamber had gone quiet. Talassa, Miramar's keeper of magic, was the most powerful songcaster in the realm. No one misbehaved in her presence, ever. Even Isabella sat up straighter when Talassa entered the room. "Causing trouble again, Lucia?" she finally said. "Nothing surprising from a Volnero. Do you remember what bad behavior got your ancestor Columnus? No? Let me remind you, it got him his head in a basket. Likewise to great aunt Livilla. I would watch myself if I were you." Lucia's eyes flashed menacingly at the unwelcome reminder of her ancestor's dark deeds. Columnus had tried to assassinate Mero and rule in her stead. He'd been captured and his family banished. 2,000 years later, Livilla Vornero tried to raise an army against the Merovingia. She, too, had been executed. Though these events had happened centuries ago, suspicion still shrouded the Volnero like seamus. "And you, Bianca," Thalassa continued, "a true di remora, always following the big fish. You might want to reassess your loyalties. The Merovingia are Miramar, and always will be. Alethea ensures that." She waved a heavily jeweled hand. "Out, now," she ordered. "All of you except the Principessa." Seraphina knew that Thalassa had come to drill her on her song spell. She was her teacher. Yudokimi is only a few hours away. As of yesterday, that trill in the fifth measure wasn't where it should be. It should be quick and bright, like dolphins jumping, not lumbering like a whale shark. "We have work to do," Thalassa said. "Yes, Magistra," Seraphina said. "From the beginning, please." Seraphina started to sing, and immediately stumbled. Again the Cantomagus demanded no mistakes this time. The song spell is supposed to demonstrate excellence, and you're not even showing me competence. Seraphina started over. This time she got well into the song spell and passed the difficult trail without a mistake. Her eyes started from the wall ahead of her where she'd focused her gaze to Talassa. "Good, good. But stop biting off your words," Talassa chided. "Legato, legato, legato." Seraphina nodded to show she understood and tried to soften her words, gliding smoothly from phrase to phrase. She was doing more than merely singing now. She was songcasting. Mero's song spell, sung correctly, told listeners of the origins of the merfolk. Like all princesses before her, Seraphine had to cast the original song spell, then compose several movements of her own that illustrated the progression of the merfolk after Meryl's rule. She had to sing of her place in that progression. She had to use color, light, and movement to do it. The greater her mastery of magic, the more dazzling her song spell. She was just conjuring a likeness of Meryl when Talassa started waving her hands. No, 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 stop, she shouted. What is it? What's wrong? Seraphina asked. The images, they're far too pale. They have no life. I I don't understand, Magistra. I hit all the notes. I had the phrase totally under control. That's the problem, Seraphina. Too much control. That's always your problem. I want emotion and passion. I want the tempest, not the calm. Again. Seraphina took a deep breath, then picked up where Talassa had stopped her. As she sang, the Cantimagus whirled around her, pushing her, challenging her, never letting up. As Seraphina began a very tricky section of the song spell, a tribute to her future husband, Talassa swam closer, propelled by her strong tentacles. Expression, Seraphina, more expression, she demanded. Seraphina had conjured a water vortex as part of an effect. She added two more. Good, good. Now use the magic to make me feel something. Amaze me. Raising the vortices with her voice, Seraphina made them taller and spun them faster. She forgot she was inside the palace, forgot to keep the magic spell. Her voice grew louder, stronger. She swept a graceful hand out in front of her, carving the vortices. She bent them once, twice, three times, folding the water in on itself, forcing it to refract light. Excellent, Colossus shouted. Seraphina's voice was soaring. It swooped over arpeggios, ranged up and down octaves effortlessly. She bent the water again, and a dozen more times until it cracked and broke into shards, and light shot from it in so many directions it looked like a mountain of diamonds glittering in the chamber. She was now coming to the part where she had to conjure an image of the crown prince. She tried to make the most beautiful image she could imagine. But as soon as she saw Maudie's face shimmering before her, her voice broke. All she could think about was Lucia telling her that he had a male friend. What if she was right? All at once her emotions boiled over. She lost control of her songs while the vortices spun apart violently and splashed onto the floor, knocking over a table, smashing a chair, and cracking two windows. I can't do it, she shouted angrily, slapping the water with her tail. It's an impossible song spell. She turned to Talassa, her composure entirely gone. Tell my mother that Dokimi's off. Tell her I'm not good enough. Not good enough for her. Not good enough to cast this rotten song spell. And not good enough for the crown prince. And that ends chapter 4. And I am now getting ready to start chapter 5, which starts on page 45. Talassa pressed a hand to her chest. What is this outburst? She asked. This isn't like you, child. You know the song